Now, I wanted to delve in about the workshops. Now, I know you've run a couple of them already in this series. It's a six-week workshop, and those ones that you've already run, I believe, have been recorded anyway. Julie's recorded them, and we'll post in the comments about these videos. We'll post links to them so that people can view them. But maybe you could elaborate on the structure of the sessions, the ones that you've already done, but also the ones coming up and what people can expect.
Yeah. So, when presented with this opportunity, I had lots of ideas, but my brain is always very, very disorganized, and I have a hard time bringing everything together. I had some ideas. Well, we should talk about this and we should talk about that. So I turned to one of my favorite helpers, Claude, and I put down everything that I had thought about, all my disjointed ideas in order of their disjointedness, but focused. And this is the important thing. And this is where the entrepreneurial mindset comes in. I didn't focus on an output, except I need 6 30-minute sessions that are conversational. Yes. Instead, I focused on the outcome. At the end of this, I want the people that attend to have tools to go out and address these various parts of being an entrepreneur. And so Claude did a wonderful job of taking those disjointed thoughts and adding a few that I hadn't thought of, and gave me a really great 6-week outline that I was able then to put some finishing touches on. But it got me about 90% of the way there. Now, with anything, of course, with any iterative process, you're building something, it's always, you're always getting a little less wrong. And in this case, we're getting a little less wrong every week. The first week, it was kind of hard to draw out some of our young entrepreneurs that were there, because they didn't understand what their role was, what was okay, yes. What the rules were. And so the first week we tried to draw them out a little bit. We got some of the people to speak up, which was fantastic. But the second week, we kind of were a little more aggressive in giving people the opportunity to talk about the types of things they're doing, and that's what we want. We want these young people to share the successes and the negative successes, the positive and the negative successes they've had in learning, because that's the context around this whole thing: is how do we learn in the best way? How do we learn our way to all these stages of entrepreneurship? So, real quick, the six topics were: developing an entrepreneurial mindset. That's week 1. Week 2 was identifying business opportunities. Week 3, coming up this week, is creating a solid business plan. Solid business plan there means what's the minimum business plan that you can build, because no business plan survives first contact with your customer. To quote Steve Blank, thank you, Steve. Securing and funding resources is week 4. And remember, resources aren't just money or investors. It's time. It's opportunity. It's other types of resources. Developing your product or service, and then marketing, branding, sales, customer acquisition, that sort of stuff at the end. When you actually have something, you have a business model, and now you have to execute on it. So it's a lot of conversation for 30 minutes a week. But we've really had great conversations so far. We've run a little long on each one of them, but I think that's a good sign.
That's a really good sign, and you're covering a lot of ground here. I mean, in 6 sessions, you're covering
it's just a taste. It's really just a taste, yeah. And I want people to walk away with some ideas and some thoughts and some keywords that they can go search and learn more on. Because we're in 6 weeks at 30 minutes a week, we're not going to teach disciplined entrepreneurship, but we're going to give you the tools it takes to go out and continue to learn on your own and understand what it is you don't know. And that's the best thing. Yeah,
it's what you don't know, isn't it? And actually, what was quite interesting for me over the Christmas New Year period is I've been thoroughly enjoying your book, your 20 questions book, and really, really insightful. And I'm an experienced entrepreneur, but we're all learning all the time, and we're learning off each other. And I wonder whether any of that content from the book you were bringing into the workshops.
Yeah, it's pervasive, because it's who I am. As you're reading, you're probably hearing my voice, because I've probably said a lot of those things to you before. And as we've had conversations, it probably sounds like me, and that's what I hoped. I mean, I wrote the book kind of in 2 or 3 streams of consciousness that that were stretched over 18 months. And all of the key things there about discovery and asking the right questions, those are the things that power this series as well. So it is who I am and what I think. So that's it's going to be variations on a theme.